Hey, Gator Nation. Welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast. This is our raw reaction episode for Florida versus LSU. With me, as always, is Mike
What's going on?
and the hype man, Wes.
Good, Gator Nations.
And we're here to talk about it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, guys. And, as y'all already know, a lot more bad, a lot more ugly than the good yesterday. But we're going to hit it up and we're going to talk about it and share our opinions, and I'm sure a lot of them will match yours. As always, guys, make sure you check us out on all your podcast providers. We're available everywhere that you get your podcast from. Give us a download and check us out on YouTube. As always, respect our decision. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so that you get a notification every time we upload new content. As always, if you'd like to support us on Patreon as creators, you can hit us up, respect our decision. As a reminder, every dime that we make, guys, from your support, we put back in this show just to get better. Rough week, guys. But, before we get started, guys, quick shout out to our sponsor, camwoodsupplements.com. Make sure you go check out them and use code RESPECT20. Save 20% off your first purchase. But before we get in our pre-rant, guys, real quick, as you know, our boy Mike was in the trenches again yesterday. And just real quick before we get into the game, we want to find out, Mike, how was it down there yesterday? It seemed like it was pretty electric early.
No, it actually was. Everyone was in good spirits, man. I was definitely tailgate hopping, but place was packed. You couldn't tell anyone, the season wasn't, we were out of contention. It was all positive vibes. Everyone was talking about, just the positive outlook for the program, all in good hopes, essentially seeing it, as it was, we're in year one, but like, look at we have, and even the frat houses had it, the kids on campus. So it was really positive vibes throughout. Packed, people got there relatively early for the tailgates as well. It wasn't like Kentucky when it was a ghost town. I didn't lose a lens off my sunglasses. So I thought we were looking good. And even the crowd, 90,000 people, 90,000 plus, kept it going throughout. It was loud. The sideline had some heavy hitters on there, and the crowd once again did its thing. No matter good or bad, they stayed with the team throughout. We'll obviously get into the nitty gritty of it, but throughout this whole season, one thing has been constant. That's been Gator Nation supporting the team. So I'm definitely proud of the fans with this.
Yeah, man, it came off as electric. I know, with big pump up of the Tom Petty Day and all that, came across as really loud. ESPN gave us a lot of love with that, showing the celebration. And I know it had to be hard to hang in there for 4 quarters, especially that third quarter. It was, sheesh.
Yeah, that one. That I had to say, I tested my fanhood about not taking a walk around the stadium there for a second.
Well, guys, we're gonna jump right into it, and we're each gonna give a kind of a small little rant on what we thought from yesterday. Not gonna try to get it too long-winded, or I know we all have our own little rant there today that we want to give. So, Wes, why don't you kick us off, man? What's eating at you about last night's game?
I mean, probably the same thing that's eating the entire Gator Nation, you guys as well. I mean, our defense. I know Mike has mentioned this in the past about if you hold a team under 30, you should win. I mean, to me, it's the same thing if you score over 30. You feel like you should win that ball game. I mean, for them to score on 7 straight possessions is ridiculous. I mean, around here, we are used to, for the last maybe 10 years or so, not being able to score, but our defense always kept us in ball games. That was the thing we could hang our hat on. We may not have a quarterback, we maybe can't score a lot of points, but our defense will keep us in the game. And to me, that they have been the standard around here. And to see what our defense is putting out there, really the last 2 years, is crazy. It's frustrating. And it's not like it's like third and short. Sometimes, I mean, that's advantageous for the defense. I mean, for the other opposing team. Excuse me. But when you're on third and longs and allowing these things, I mean, it was the most frustrating thing. I couldn't stomach it. So to me, we got to be better, man. I don't know if it's scheme. I don't know if it's players. Could be I would say I think it's a mixture of both.
Definitely.
So that's just my thing. I think it's a mixture of both, and that's my. We're gonna hit on some other things later, but to me, the defense was just horrific, and I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're all with you on that. Mike, what you got to add? You're muted, Mike. Hi.
Second time I pressed the button. Promise. I pressed the damn button. All right. So, anyways, absolutely pissed or livid about the defensive effort overall, and I'm definitely go more in depth. Just multiple talking points on that. So, just the defense overall. I'm actually quite proud of AR on this one, and the last one our O-line, I don't know what's going on, but it's a lot to be desired. So I mean, those are going to be the main ones, just to be fully transparent.
Yeah, I'm glad you said what you said about AR, because that's we can rant about the defense all day. I mean, a blind man, Stevie Wonder, could rant about our defense. It don't take much. So I'm not going to sit here and just go off like I would like to. Wes said it best. I think it's a very large combination of players and coaching. Tony doesn't get a pass in this. I know he still needs his players and whatnot, but you still need to see progressions throughout the season, and we've seen regressions. So to me, that says a lot about certain players. Some players have definitely shown flashes, and Ventrell Miller continues to be what Ventrell is. I mean, the heart of the defense, but unfortunately, the rest of the body is not very good. So, I saw a lot of people, though, in the last 12 to 16 hours, I guess, talking about AR in the offense, and I don't get where y'all are coming from on that. I just don't. Is AR a Heisman winning quarterback this year? Absolutely not. Did AR give you everything you needed to win that football game yesterday? 100%. You put 35 points on the board. You said 30 points. I'll take it better. If you score 25 to 28 points, to me, you should win most ball games. I mean, given at the University of Florida, your defense should be good enough. At least that's always been our standard to keep us to that. So I understand, like I put out a tweet about, I understood the frustrations with AR in the UK game and the USF game, but blaming the offense and AR for anything that happened last night, or saying AR was inconsistent. What did you want? Did you want him to score every single drive? Because that's what he would have had to do last night to have won that game. So, with that being said, I know Mike has one more point he wanted to add before we move on. Mike?
Yeah, so being at the game, I was like I said on Thursday's show, LSU, when Tom Petty actually passed, and we had the initial "Won't Back Down" song playing. They played over it. They
did it again.
Oh, it was whole. I want to say like whole second half. They were playing it. I'm not even inviting them. I don't know how.
Oh, I don't
know how it occurs. Okay, But what I saw was absolutely so tasteless from those corn dogs. I'm going to Death Valley next year, and I'm gonna bring. I mean, some harmonica. I don't know, but something's gonna occur.
Maybe you should just walk around talking about Mike the Tiger or something like that. The one that died from cancer or something. The one that died from cancer or
when
something.
They killed?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple of people actually tweet that out at Scott Strickland last night that
Tasteless.
that whatever needs to be done, don't let those bastards back in our stadium.
Absolutely.
Sorry, not sorry. There's no need for that. Big shout out to the fans and people that were there that gave reaction to that and tried to shut that down. Y'all are the real heroes.
Yep.
Hope y'all didn't get in trouble, but if you did, you did the right thing.
Trash was thrown, and it looks like the.
I heard somebody threw a $12 beer on the band, and I was like, that man was a true American hero.
It was more than one, and how they were situated, they're a section over, so they were getting. It was some long tosses.
Yeah. All right, guys. As you know, if you listen to our weekly show, we've started doing a pick six on every show of things that we need to do to beat our opponent and things we need to avoid. And we're going to go over that and talk about how we did and didn't do in those categories that we had listed in our show. I think y'all already probably know where that's going to go, but let's start it off. We're going to start off with Wes's what we needed to do to beat LSU. Run more plays and convert on third down. Wes, I'd say we did pretty good. I mean, we didn't do bad on that.
Nah, I mean, I cannot, even if the numbers may not show it, we both, me and you just both said we scored enough points to win the game. So the offense started off with a bang to beat the deep bomb. So I think we were good.
Yep. Mike, you said at least an average game from AR and a fast start. I mean, holy crap. 2 plays in, we had a touchdown on the board.
Listen, I myself and Billy Napier, okay, we did our jobs. Okay, AR, we're on the same page. Now, once again, I'm gonna save the other content for later in the show, follow the outline, but I can only do so much. I was in attendance, okay. I contributed to the crowd noise, I contributed to the their band, okay. So I think some gas money needs to come out of a certain
here we go again.
coordinator's pocket. This is adding up, man. I just had an oil change. Hate to break it to you, synthetic oil is not cheap. All right, not cheap.
Oh my goodness. Mine was get pressure. LSU 122 in the country in sacks allowed. We got 1 sack. Brenton Cox got that, missed one early in the game, had him wrapped up in the backfield and let him go. It happens. But we didn't. I don't believe we got fairly close the rest of the game to getting it.
Close running lanes though, or for him.
Yeah, but man, I'd love to see. You've got 5-star talent on the defensive line. The only other time we got close, we got flagged for a penalty, but we'll discuss that in a little bit. Anyway, 3 things the Gators needed to avoid. I wonder what those were. Wes, keep doing what you're doing on 1st and 2nd down, and force them into 3rd and long, and get off the field.
I mean,
how'd that turn out for us?
I couldn't have given our D coordinator a better blueprint to win the game, and they failed.
Snack money.
Something, man. I mean, you got to be. I mean, I addressed it in my vent earlier. I mean, you said we. I mean, that was when I say sick to my stomach as a former defensive player. That was sick, man. I mean, to watch it start off that way, and then I had made up my mind it's gonna be a long day. I said it's gonna be a long day. Once I saw the first 2, because the first 2 were long. The defense did what they 1st and 2nd down they won. 3rd down, long, convert. And by that time, I just say, okay, AR, you're going to have to put on a show.
Yep. Mike, excuse me. Chunk play scrambles by Jaden Daniels.
Didn't have them. I'm doing my job.
He didn't get a whole lot. He got a few. He got a few. Not terrible.
Listen, I'm giving blueprints to succeed, okay?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm trying here, man. I can't make cornerbacks turn around for the ball, all right? I can't do that. This is the only time I'm batting 1,000, so I'm going to milk this for all it's worth. But that was once again correct, and it was handled. So I will give Tony credit for that. We had no chunk plays, and that could be, once again, you said you want sacks. I think we all want sacks. Honestly, I think plugging the running lanes for Daniels couldn't scramble is more important than sacks in this particular game.
Mine was don't force the ball. LSU had a great pass defense, 28th in takeaways. Hey, no turnovers for the offense yesterday. Had a bunch of his incompletions were throwaways, which are, was smart plays. Didn't try to force it
or scramble.
Yeah, he threw one bullet to Justin Shorter on that same slant route, and people were like, "Oh, why do you call that play there?" The play was there. Could AR take a little bit off of it? Probably. Can Shorter still make that catch if he wants to play in the NFL? Probably.
Yes, to be
you got to convert the play. That comes down to it. It was there. So that's it as far as pick six goes, guys. Our points were there. Some were taken and done well, and the others just completely thrown out the window. So that move said, we're going to move on down. Mike's going to cover a few things stat-wise for us, and we're going to just kind of react to them and give our reactions to them. Mike?
Yes, based on for LSU. So going into the game, one of their main points there was their first half woes, excluding Southern U. Now facing Florida State, they had scored 3 points, and they were losing in the first half. Mississippi State, they scored 7 points, once again losing. New Mexico, yes, New Mexico, they were winning at the half. We'll give them credit for that, but once again, 17 points. All right, Auburn, 14 points, losing in the first half. Tennessee, 7 points, losing in the first half. UF, 28. Yes, that is more than New Mexico. So just, in perspective there. And by the way, they were playing in Baton Rouge against New Mexico. So, just to pour gas on the fire there. All right. Also, Jaden Daniels, not a bad quarterback, not a good quarterback. Is what he is at this point in his career. But we made him look like a Heisman candidate who belongs in New York, and it was utterly disgusting to watch.
We put him. I saw a tweet today earlier. I hate to cut you off on that.
No, go for it.
That we put Joe Burrow. we put Jaden Daniels in Joe Burrow categories.
He was better than Joe Burrow the first time he was in Gainesville.
He got
I saw that
second LSU player ever to have 6 touchdowns. 6 quarterback.
I'm sick again. 23 of 32, 349 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 44 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. QBR this season versus Power 5 teams, 56.7, 61, 63.1. Versus UF, 93.6. Gotta love that. So, and he just looked cool, composed, didn't look, like we were bothering him the whole game. But that goes to back what Hirsch was saying with the pressures. So, all right, now on to actually before we move on, what do you Wes? What do you think about LSU so far with some of those stats there?
It looked like Daniels was playing 7-on-7. That's how I felt watching the game. It looked like
that's a good call. That's a good call.
7-on-7. It was crazy, man. To me, like I said, it looked like 7-on-7. Hirsch brought up Jane Dan. I think they said that. I think Burrow had like 6 times that year. He had 6 TDs in one game, and we put that guy in Joe Burrow's category last night. I mean, I'm to the point where I think LSU might. I don't. Maybe they own us. I don't know. Maybe whether it was Orgeron, Les Miles, and now this coach here. Like these games when we figure we should win. I don't know how to see it in any way. But yeah,
it goes to it's a rivalry in terms of that's what I'm saying. Like the past, I forgot the exact, but it's like I think overall it's 33-30. The overall
33,
record
30. Yeah, I'm sorry.
33 wins,
33
losses,
and 3.
3 ties.
Three
Yeah.
ties.
I want to say, but the last 10, I want to say they. I forgot exactly, but it's like we only won 3, they won 7, but it's always a good game. Once again, they won. They in terms of win-loss, they own us, but in terms of it's a good game or not, it's a good game or not, it's guaranteed. It's absolutely. So, Hirsch, did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we were magically out schemed, or we weren't as far as that. No, I'm not saying like Kelly and them are not some, like just some had some great thing. They just
okay. I see what you're saying.
They took advantage of a terrible defensive game. Like, and yes, I know what you're saying. The defensive coordinator's scheme obviously comes into effect, but there are good players on this defense that just don't execute at all. I mean, it's you watch Jaden Hill get run downfield and his receiver turn around and he just doesn't react.
Yeah, and we'll touch on that more in the UF one, but yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's you can't. I mean, don't tell me Corey Raymond isn't teaching these kids how to cover a turnaround route, a curl or any of this. Like they know, but they can't. It's almost like they can't. And I don't want to. I mean, I hate to say this too, but man, I think we may have drastically overrated Jason Marshall at this point in time too. But argument for another day on that, I guess.
All right, so moving on to University of Florida, though. Now, just to continue what Hirsch was saying, kind of this defense overall. A couple stats here per PFF. The Gators had 21 missed tackles versus LSU. Now, a lot of smart individuals told me that was a Grantham problem. We're a lot more physical this year. Yeah, that's a lie. Okay. I think, and it goes back to that's a mentality problem. So it comes down to the Jimmies and Joes. I mean, we didn't bring. There's not that many true freshmen getting PT. Shamar James had a beautiful tackle, a chase down. I mean, Moore's not playing. So it's. I saw Kamari get in on a couple plays there, but other than that, I mean, it's still leftover talent. But you still have the opportunity to flip the roster via transfer portal. So it shouldn't be this bad of tackling it, because I was told they don't practice it for the reason. So if you're practicing it, then it's on the new coaches. So I mean, I'm hearing excuses at this point, Wes.
To me, it was lack of effort watching on TV, Mike. I don't know if you had a chance to rewatch it, but there's a couple times you see players. You know how, again, I reference me. You play defense side of the ball. I can't remember if you played defense or not, but we've always been taught.
We played both ways.
Okay, gotcha.
First played 8-man football.
I played in a leather helmet.
Mike, I know we talked about but referencing what you just said as far as mentality. You hear this when you're in Pee Wee, 11 hats to the football. And right now I don't see 11 hats to the football. I see a lot of guys sometimes standing, not giving half-hearted efforts, or when the running back breaks loose again from the initial guy, they're like, oh, now they're trying to react instead of you there already to assist with that tackle, meaning when you say 11 hats to the tackle, to the ball, that you may see 4 or 5 guys there. So if he breaks loose from one guy, the second guy is there and the third guy is there. And right now, to your point about the mentality of the football team, I don't see that. I see a lot of guys watching.
This is funny you brought that up. Me and Mike actually talked about this earlier in a phone conversation. It's a mentality, but that's also a coaching point.
Thank you.
11 hats to the ball is you teach that in Pop Warner football.
Yeah.
Wherever the ball goes, you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's 11 hats to the ball. And on Josh Williams had the 50-yard run that should have been a 2-yard loss. Gervon had him in the backfield, and everyone's like, oh, he's got him. And the next thing you know, he bounces outside and he runs. And is that an effort thing? Partially, yes, absolutely. As a football player, you had enough pride to say, I want to go out there, excuse my language, but I was always taught one guy holds him up and then you go up and put his dick in the dirt.
No,
That's
absolutely.
You know, and that's a coaching point.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when I played, we weren't a record, absolutely nothing to brag about. And we made it in terms of, it turned out to be effort, but we made it was a pride thing, but also fun at the same time. A couple guys hold them up. We're D-line, we're literally jumping on the pile. And the refs, hey, don't do that. I literally looked at him and said, blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. So
play to the whistle.
You get the buy-in. It doesn't take the talent, but you can get the buy-in. So there's no way for 40, 50 kids aren't buying in. So what? Like I'm questioning, like the coaches on this part. I'm not saying they can't get it done. Obviously, we have a really good staff, but what else needs to be done in order to change that mentality? So at that point, if the your core players, you need to hit the transfer portal and get players that fit your mentality, not only scheme, both.
That goes back to, and we've said this before, there is still a rotten mentality on this roster.
I know, absolutely.
I know you agree. At some point, you may have to say, I don't care how long you've been here, your ass is riding the bench because if you're not going to go hard, I will find somebody that will. I don't care what your NIL deal is. I don't care what your potential draft status is. I don't give a damn because my job is to win football games at the University of Florida. First and foremost, that's what they paid me millions of dollars to do, to get the players that could win the ball game and win ball games at the University of Florida, not to get number 0 drafted. Sorry, saying it. I know that comes with the job. You want to do what's best for the kids, but the kids got to do what they were put on scholarship and given NIL deals to do at the same time. And if you're not out there, playing team ball and playing hard, I'll find somebody that will.
And sometimes if you bench, I don't care how good he is, for Gerd for missing tackles, for example, let's just say that random player. I don't want bench, by the way, but sometimes it takes one
flips
bench,
a switch.
One benching. It doesn't have to be a whole youth movement. It could be one player.
Flips the switch.
Yep. But no, so moving down, like I said, moving on for some more stats. Per team rankings, this is where it's sickening. We are 131 out of 131. Yes, that is dead last for the mathematicians out there. On opponent third down conversion at 54.43%. We are 76th nationally with 1.8 sacks per game. That's Hirsch's stat there. 72nd with 242 opponent passing yards per game. 116th with 199.2 opponent rushing yards per game. And 17th with 30 opponent points per game. So, that's just absolutely atrocious. So, are we still blaming Todd Grantham?
No,
because I was told it was scheme. That's how it was Grantham. So technically, if it's a good, no matter what the player, correct me if I'm wrong here, if it's a real damn good DC, he's gonna get that. If you're ranked 80th overall, he'll get you to 60th based on pure scheme. I mean, what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Wes. Why don't you comment on this?
You can go ahead. Go ahead.
I just don't. My whole problem is, and we've talked about this since we were doing recruiting videos before the season. Recruits want to see progression on the season. Fans want to see it too, though. As fans, we want to see the team. I can handle a loss maybe if I at least see my defense hustling and not giving up, bowling ball tackles where they're just bouncing off and going down the field, and wide open 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20 conversions. That is regression. It's not progression. And that's what bothers me the most, that you would expect 7 games in with a new staff, you would start seeing some of these guys that were not getting it done early in the season starting to have the light switch come on. And we're not seeing that for most everybody. And that's what's crazy.
The funny thing is, what I saw, what was initially going to be the Achilles heel, I'm seeing a lot of folks playing a lot better.
Defensive line,
D-line, and Bernie's playing solid. And I called him the Antichrist multiple times. So
and he got hurt early in the game and still got back in there.
Absolutely, Justice Boone's what it appears to be a leader amongst the D-line. We have Sapp coming in and out of there. Desmond, Watson is playing his ass off. So I mean, I'm seeing a lot of progression amongst what I thought we were getting murdered on. One person, one injury away from.
I got another.
And now it's actually the secondary. So.
I saw about Desmond Watson today, guys. Desmond Watson is doing his job. Watson's job is not to be in the backfield every play. Learn what a nose tackle is supposed to do.
Eat up blocks. He's supposed to
eat up blocks, eat up space. Yeah.
For the backers.
Golly, I've seen so many people complaining that Des doesn't need to be on the field.
He's probably been the key to what you guys pointed about, where we always mention how Bernie's progressed. He's probably been key in that, allowing Bernie to not have to take on so many of those
second level blocks.
Exactly. To be able to have him free to roam around. That's his job. He in turn has made Bernie a better player. So
yeah, I didn't want to go too deep on that, but I saw people complaining about, Watson doesn't even need to be on the field. Yes, he does. Yeah. He's earned that right in practice by playing and working hard. He's getting more and more snaps every game, and he's doing what a nose tackle is supposed to do.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot more people to focus on this defense than what Desmond Watson's doing.
Like our corners, for example.
But anyway, let Mike roll.
Yeah, so we'll get there. All right, so now to the man in the spotlight. Good old Patrick Toney. I was lied to. I was told he's a secret sauce. I hope he turns out to be. I truly do. But right now, all I'm gonna say is this. I haven't DM'd Jeff Collins yet.
Oh, Jesus.
I may have followed him on Twitter. That's all I'm gonna say.
He don't care.
No, but in all seriousness, I know you can't fire a guy off of 1 year. I'm trying to take it, I'm trying not to, jump off the cliff, just fire off the tweets, but I'm trying to look at the bright side of things in terms of progression. But I really want to know what the hell is going on with the secondary. So, we'll get in that in a little bit. But at this point, just flat out, what do you guys think? I think it's a blend. For a question for you guys. Schemer players. I personally think it's 70, maybe 65, 35, but like 70, 30 scheme to players. Because if you're a good coach, you will eventually have the scheme you run. However, if you have players who can probably only run man, you will adjust it. Or you like a Mike D'Antoni, who can only, Mike Leach, who can only run air raid, for example. He's not going to run I formation. He doesn't have the ability to. So my whole point is run more man coverages. Don't like I think Jason Marshall is still as talented. I just don't think he's a zone corner.
He actually did switch up coverages later in the game yesterday.
That's what I was going to point out. Like,
as much so. I mean, we're still like we're at what week are we in, and we're still
week
playing,
7. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying he did start to switch it up because obviously what we weren't running in the first half wasn't working, or the rest of the season. And he did start to switch it up. And even then, that was like the play I was talking about Hill on the stop and go. And he just, the guy stopped and Hill just had his shoulder turned and just kept running. And then, he's not here anymore.
I'm glad you brought that one up. I meant to say something earlier about it. Not only, and I know Mike said we'll talk about Hill later, but on that play, he did get, like, the wide receivers do it to DBs all the time. There's nothing you can do. He nudged. It was a good play by the wide receiver because it didn't get called, to nudge at the separation at the end. He did it. If you go back and watch it, he nudged them off to catch the ball. But to the general point of what we were talking about as far as scheme versus the players, on the very first series, on that very first 3rd and long, when he had all day in pocket, Mike, I know you were in the game, Dean left his zone.
Dean
bit.
Dean bit.
And let the receiver come right behind him. It replayed it on TV. You see him go up. That's on Dean. Again, he scooted up and left his zone. If he stays in his zone, the play's not there. But then on that particular play, Daniels had 20 hours to throw the football. So he switched and started blitzing. People were talking like maybe we should blitz more on 3rd down because us playing that zone ain't working. We blitz. The corners got beat. I don't know what I don't know what to do if you're the DC.
No, and I that's why I'm like, listen, it's a lot of Mullen players. All right, so like I'm not jumping off a cliff. I'm being highly frustrated on, and I know he can't make a corner turn around. Now the play you're talking about was literally right in front of me. It was like you said, it was a nudge. But end of the day, he was in a position to make a play on the ball. None of these corners made a play on the ball. That's the biggest thing. So it's like nudge aside. No,
it's all reactionary. Football. It's all reactionary.
Get your head around him.
And that's my biggest thing is it's like, okay, he caught the ball. Now I'm going to run up and make the tackle. Well, at that point, you've already got 20 yards. And the play Wes is talking about was just prototypical, the same thing we've been talking about for 4, 5, 6 weeks. Player assignment. Don't go try to be a hero.
Yes.
Stay in your zone and play your zone. It's your assignment. If you don't do your assignments, the play don't work. And you're been here 5 years.
He creeped up.
I have reached that point where I want to see more young guys on the field because I think that's the only way we're going to have progression for next season is to start getting some of these guys more and more snaps. Otherwise, we're going to be facing the same battle. But anyway, that's
And another thing, to some people, like they're talking about talent losses and that. Yeah, we did lose Elam, but last year, for example, he was injured most of the year and did miss some games. And we also, at the same time, Bernie has progressed exponentially. We've added Ventrell Miller, but at the same time, like I said, tackling still piss poor.
Yeah.
So that's all. I'm right now at this point. I want him. I'm not trying to fire him. I am evaluating. I put it more on a play.
Got to see progression.
Absolutely. All right. So just to touch on it really quick, I know we've been skimming over it. Cornerback play, playing a ball. Do you think this will get fixed by the end of the year?
I don't know if it's going to get fixed, but I sure would expect to see. God, I hate to keep saying the same thing. I'm a broken record, but I've got to see some damn progression as somebody. I got to see somebody.
Moore's your only one left.
What we saw last week out of Hill was very like, wow, that's great. That's what I want to see. And then it was like this week it was like, you know what? Nobody do it. Let's just all go, do the same thing.
I'm talking about we were all on Travis Johnson and Perkins for a slot. It wasn't the slots this week. It was the outside corner.
Whoa. We.
Oh, God.
You need to stop
me and
lumping
Hurst.
me into the Travis
Me and
Johnson
Hurst. Me and Hurst.
whatever.
Well,
Okay.
and then
me
you
and
got
Hurst.
like Perkins on Twitter wondering why he's not playing. I mean, I know why.
But to me, it wasn't. To me, it wasn't the slot position. These were the outside corners. Whether it was Jalen Kimber, whether it was Abraham, his got overturned. Whether it was Marshall, whether it's who am I missing? Jaden Hill. All four.
LJ. Yeah.
All four of those.
Oh yeah,
guys, they rotated.
everybody was food.
Jaden Hill was literally picked on like who was that? What was it? Williams? Who was the one in Georgia?
CJ McWilliams.
I still have nightmares.
Well, yeah.
That's the last time I saw a player get picked on that many times. They were looking for him.
Yeah.
And Wes, we've known each other for years. What have I always said about Jaden Hill? Do you recall?
No, he don't recall.
If he gets significant time at the University of Florida, PT, that's a problem.
Okay.
I'm glad he had his time. I'm glad he had his, time in the sun, but like he ain't in. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A corner on two bad knees is not a good thing ever.
Yeah.
But that I wish the best for the young man.
Absolutely.
I love his fight, and that's great. Once again, it's to find the best 11 players to be on the field at the University of Florida.
Absolutely. And the last thing, one thing I saw, it was at the end zone. I was at their run defense is atrocious. So it was one particular play. I would say Ventrell missed it. I forgot possibly Daniels going in for a touchdown. They're not squeezing down on the receiver. They're just getting blocked. They're staying pretty much blocked at the pylon. You got to squeeze that down to help out the linebacker. So not only that, and they lost contain on another play. So they're playing piss poor run defenses as well. So I mean, it was just overall an atrocious day. I don't know if you guys saw that at all.
Yeah, I saw it. Both run-ins he had.
But, all right. Now for the offense. We had some good news there. Now for the offensive line. Just overall, what do you guys think?
Last week I had a problem with protection as far as giving AR enough time. Yesterday, AR had enough time to throw, to go through his reads and decide, like Hurst talked about earlier, I'm gonna throw this one away, or this time I'm gonna scramble because nothing. I mean, he had time to literally sit and go through each read, decide where they was there, and take off. That was good to me. As far as running the ball, I saw a center. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his first last.
We will.
Whipped.
He's actually our next talking point.
Yeah, but the right guard that came in for Torrance, he had some ups and downs. You expect
Richie Leonard.
Richie
Leonard.
Countdown County alum. And Hirsch, what about yourself?
Well, just as Wes just brought up, Kingsley spent about as much time in the backfield as our running backs did.
Not the first time this season.
And it's not. And we hyped up this offensive line at the beginning of the season. And I wouldn't say they've been a disappointment, but they have not lived up to their full potential. If you're a center, you can't be getting pushed into the backfield off the snap because that disrupts your handoffs. It disrupts, your quarterback has to adjust his feet immediately. So many things happen if your center gets pushed back. That's every tackle, defensive tackle's dream is to push the center into the damn quarterback or disrupt the handoff. Not ideal. Not good, Bob.
Not great. Not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob. Thought Leonard as a whole, he played okay. Took a stupid penalty in the heat of the moment. The rest of the offensive line was serviceable. They did what they needed to do, but the center situation is not helpful.
Yeah, I'll say it. They were disappointing, or Kingsley was disappointing. I'll say it absolutely. And serviceable, that means you're average. Yeah, that's crap. So I mean, you have arguably a first. He'll go worst case third round. He's sniffing the end of the first. He's that good. Arguably the best guard in the country. So you have Torrance, who it was banged up. Ethan White has significantly regressed this season. Garage, I mean, I'll take him left tackle. And then we've been at decent play at right tackle, but end of the day, as a unit playing, if you're getting average at best, it's not getting the job done. We're just totally unable to run through up the middle. You're just running. They're hitting on the great wall. So
most quarterbacks, we would take a lot more sacks than we take. AR saves makes that stat.
Oh,
a
absolutely,
lot better.
absolutely. So and that's just my opinion on that. Now let's move down to running backs. We actually got some great talk points on that. So it coincides with the O-line, just lack of running lanes, and like I said, especially up the middle. Did you guys notice that at all?
Yeah, it was tight. I mean, sorry, Wes. Go ahead.
No, well, to me, a couple of runs, Montreal missed some cutbacks that he was hitting early on. I don't know if this was because he was playing LSU and the Louisiana thing, but I'm used to him seeing that cutback. He missed a lot. Mike, I don't know if he would close his eyes and just ran. He was saying he was hitting the wall in the middle. The cutback lanes were there, and he's great at that. And for some reason last night, it felt like he closed his eyes and just ran straight ahead. He looked like Trent Richardson in the NFL. I don't know what was going on with him last night. Etienne was the same guy he was. It was good to see him on kick return. I told people he was back there. They just need to switch him and Henderson. And that's what they did. They just switched Henderson to the up man. And we saw that on the very first play of the game. They never kicked to him again after that. So Etienne was Etienne. He always makes the first man miss, it seems like. But a couple times he just had nowhere to go. Speaking to you guys' point about the offensive line.
All right, perfect. Appreciate that. Now, there's one thing. This is for you, Wes, actually. So, and you know me, I'm a big, huge ETN fan. But one thing I noticed, and this is only off one play, so this is not an overall review of him. And I was saying there may be certain reasons why he's not getting these carries or why he's not on the field as much as he should be. Him being a true freshman, so on and so forth. One play in particular, he was a pass pro. He got absolutely obliterated. And luckily, AR was able to avoid.
I know which play you're talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't even a move.
It was an overload though. They overloaded and he misread the blitz. And I remember.
I mean, he just couldn't. The guy said, "I'm a grown man and you're a boy." That's what the guy said. It was
no.
That's a quote.
Hersh, I think you're talking about.
I think I'm talking about a different one.
Different play. The play that you're talking about, that wasn't.
He went left. He went left, and the blitz came right.
That was on Kingsley because AR after the play got on Kingsley because Kingsley called out the block. AR was like, "You said we should slant this way," and then AR told Etienne.
And that's a further indictment. That's a further indictment on Kingsley.
That was on Kingsley on your play, Hersh.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. Like I said, I would like I'm gonna check more into the pass pro between the running backs, but that's just one of the I think one of the reasons why if people do have that question, that could be a part of that. Now I need Lingard, huh? Getting some carries. Hey, I'm ecstatic for the guy. He's shown so much resolve. Pretty much putting his head down, and he's had some issues with the staff lately, but he's had that one catch and just bullied his way for the first down, and he's definitely had some nice reps. What did you guys think about that?
Let me I know we talked about this before. Let me share my thoughts on Lingard and why and a reason why he doesn't play as much over the other running backs. I saw a lot of people, "Oh my God, he's so fast." He is. He's super fast. And he runs like a freight train. Do not get me wrong, but he can't cut. He's not a cutting running back. He is a hit the hole 100. If now 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, you want to run the ball? I'm all for putting him in there and running the ball because he's going to hit the hole at 100 miles an hour, and whoever's in front of him, he's going to hit and he's going to push. I love his mentality of that. He's just not as good to me as, say, Etienne is and the other running backs that maybe taking a jump cut or, reading oh, my hole's not there where it's supposed to be. I see it opening up to the outside. Let me slide. That's not his strength. And I think that's what keeps him maybe from playing as much in a zone read offense.
And to the point that Mike just made, we came out of a timeout, and I know you were talking about Etienne and being younger. The thing that we've heard about him is it may be a playbook thing. He ran the wrong play he ran the wrong direct. If I got to go between him and AR on that bootleg fake that they ran, he went the wrong direction. So that may be another reason why he doesn't get a lot of playing time either. It was a bootleg fake, and he ran. AR was there trying to turn around and hand off the ball to him, and he wasn't even there. So that could be another reason as well why he don't get a lot of PT.
All right, now for Anthony Richardson, he actually had I'd say a solid plus graded game, and I'm sure I'm somewhat critical of him, but it's just trying to uphold the Gators standard. But no, stat wise, passing 15 to 25, 185 yards, 60% completion percent.
Like I said, a lot of throwaways in those 10.
Yeah. Which, hey, smart. Hey, I'll take it sometimes. Live to see another.
I'd rather see it than throw into double coverage just to get the ball out of your hand.
Absolutely. 7.4 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. That's why I'm a big fan of that. Rushing. This is where he really did his damage. 9 attempts for 109 yards, 12.1 for an average, a touchdown, a long of 81. And that one run, I don't know if you guys could tell on the TV, was literally right after. LSU's band was still playing.
Oh, yeah, it was quick.
Yeah, they were literally still playing while we were booing them.
He made a great play and pointed out his block, pointed it out.
Yep. 294 total yards, no turnovers. So what do you guys think of his day overall? I was a huge fan because all I need is average play. To me, he played above average.
We talked about consistency with AR, and you guys wanted to see that. I always said he was young guys, let him. And I agree he should be more consistent. He needed to be more consistent, and he has been the last couple of weeks. We haven't. We've had what South Florida and Kentucky have been horrible. Like Kentucky was just. I don't ever want to see that AR performance again. But against,
I don't think he does either.
But against everybody else that we played, to me, he's been decent. He hasn't been that AR that we saw against Kentucky. And I don't ever want every quarterback has a bad game. But he shouldn't have that bad of a game. So he's been
I agree, but at the same time, you can't say consistency. He had 66 yards passing last week. So I mean, I keep telling I don't want these huge ups and downs. But like if he would have had 120, let's say 130 yards with 60 yards rushing, like I said, I don't need this monster game, but like to me, last game's inexcusable. So at this point, once again, I need a decent game to follow this game. I mean, Hirsch, what do you think about that? What do you see the point I'm coming from compared to?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
What are your thoughts?
We talked about it last week. I don't know what happened at halftime last week of that game, but the AR we've seen since halftime of last week's game is the AR we need to see all the time. Not afraid to run when he needs to run, running hard, not kind of just tiptoeing his way through it. I'd still like someone to teach him how to slide sometimes because some of his slides are just frightening. He lands on his shoulder and weird. But let me tell you what one takeaway I have from AR in this game. The very first pass. That was a progression in AR I have not seen yet because he did not throw it hard. He didn't wind up and just throw the hell out of it. He lofted it up and let Shorter run underneath it.
Yep.
And that's a throw we have not seen from him at all. That was the kind of throw that we need to see out of him. He has the arm. It was effortless. The throw was just he just kind of like he was just playing catch with somebody.
Yeah. It was similar. I didn't even cut you off. It was similar to the Eastern Washington play to Shorter. We threw that bomb. Yeah.
But that's something that at the beginning of the season he would have just thrown the crap out of the ball and it would have sailed out of the end zone. So I really like seeing that. So that's just the one point that I wanted to bring up that I saw that was progression to me.
Wes, did you have any one last thought on AR?
No, I mean the other point we'll discuss that later. But yeah, he was fine to me. I love it.
Okay. All right. Now the roughing the passer penalty on Mr. Dexter. So when I saw it, I mean, everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, the comebacks! It's about to really happen. Holy crap!" So here's the crazy thing: no one even heard in the stadium. No one even knew.
Yeah.
No one heard it.
We didn't know either.
No one heard it. Nothing went over the loudspeaker, and next thing you know, everyone turns around from cheering. This has been a crap load of games. We turn around, they're lined up. So I don't know if this has to be reviewed by Sankley and gang, but something's off here. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
The referee had to call it on the replay. The back judge didn't call it. You can see him looking at the play directly looking at it. So it had to be the white hat referee. It wasn't the back judge because the back judge is looking. He didn't make the call, even though it was the right call. 10 times, and I was going to ask you this because I knew we were going to discuss it. You being a D lineman, I've never had to go tackle a quarterback in the backfield unless on a corner blitz. The NFL and the college game is kind of different on roughing the passes because I saw Bryce Young get hit in the head a couple times yesterday and no call was made. But I thought the head neck area, you strike the quarterback, that's a penalty. Not targeting, but just a penalty. But I don't see that get called in college. Anyway, that's not our game, but I'm just pointing that reference out to say I think it's called differently in college. But he did put all of his weight on. In the NFL, that's a penalty, but in college, I don't know. I haven't seen that one been called where you lay all your weight on the quarterback in college.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of variables that go into play. It's pretty much just like if you have the opportunity to, and I want to say if I'm incorrect, I'll take the heat on that. But essentially, if you have the opportunity to let up, you're okay. If you have the opportunity to, not take him to the ground, then it'll be a penalty.
He could have said that.
No. So when I played about a decade ago, you have in your head you have 2 steps. Now, with the rules, probably step and a half. That was step and a half. So he got to him on time. In terms of falling down, I mean, what do you want? I mean, it's at that quick a decision, it's not a penalty, in my opinion. I mean, Hirsch, what are your thoughts?
I'm mixed. I mean, I see both sides of it. It's one of those things that maybe if he'd have just, when he takes him down, if he'd have kind of rolled with him a little bit, maybe they call it a different way. He's coming
from a straight shot.
He's 6'7", 310 pounds.
You can't
stop that train on the track.
You're coming from a straight shot. I mean, you're like somebody's targeting. It's not realistic.
I understand that. But because like I come off, and I hate to bring this up, but the week before in the Falcons game, the pass, the roughing the passer they gave on Brady was because of the way the guy rolled and slung him.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's a Tom Brady call because
I'm in the mindset now, and I was the one cussing my TV at the top of my lungs because I'm just, what do you want these guys to do? What do you want a 300-pound man to do on a full head of steam at the quarterback?
Especially when they're already committed. And
do you want him to just carry him down the field? Should he have just picked him up and carried him down the field?
Yeah. A lot of people that never played it, for example, like, oh, that's targeting. I'm like, well, you don't realize the guy's literally already launched. His launch point.
You can't stop 300 pounds.
Well, let's see, a regular targeting call. If you launch, and your launch point was correct to hit him at a certain point, and he dives lower, it's head to head. Well, he dived after you committed. So, anyways, just want to touch on that for a little bit. All right, short and sweet. I mean, I'll do it in one word. How would you describe this team's makeup? I'll start. I'm going to say resilient, and because that third quarter, man, It was rough. But if that penalty doesn't occur, man, that stadium was rocking. And you could tell LSU was shook. So, and who knows what happens, when we get the ball, all that momentum, swamp behind them. So definitely it shows resiliency. Mullins players aside, it shows that's a true progression. Say what you want about the team, the defense, all these horrible defensive stats. This team doesn't give up. I literally said, like all of last year, the coaches and the team quit. Just quit. Not during a game. Literally before each game, the game was already over. So that's what I love about this team.
Go ahead, Wes.
Just fighters. I keep it short. Just they fight. Kind of try to use a simile to what Mike just said in resilient, because I feel the same way. They didn't give up. We saw this against Tennessee as well, and they tried to make that comeback as well. So it was good to see. There's still maybe some apples in there that you probably want to get out. Big shout out to Ventrell Miller for bringing the team on this and turning to the defense. As he did we have some leaders on this team. So big shout out to Venture Miller for doing that. So we do have some fighters on this team and some real leaders and some guys who care. So we just got to get some of those me guys out of here.
Yeah. I don't have a one word, description for it. Like Mike said, very resilient. I love their fight. I don't know. I just want to see more heart. That's what I want to see. I want to see more heart from some guys on defense. I want to see 11 guys that work like Ventrell does. That's my thing.
I was going to you up for that. You got it.
That's what I want to see. But that's it. I mean, I love the guys. I just want to see more heart.
I don't love them all. I actually dislike some of the passion, but all right. Now moving on. Wes, you got some word in the street. You got some folks got some questions for us.
Yeah, we got some questions from our Facebook page about the game from yesterday. So I'm going to shoot this at you guys and see you guys' opinions. Thank you guys for the questions. The first one comes from Justin Woods. He says, "How do you guys think the game turned out if Marshall's interception counts?"
I got this, Hirsch. Yeah, we win. The third quarter, if you survive, you weather that storm, and you come I think that would have taken their soul, and the band shut up. Like I said, AR, they have all that momentum. Band's talking crap. AR, 81-yard game. Boom, shut the hell up. Next, we're scoring. Got it. We actually get a stop. Literally, the fans are like, please, just one stop. Please. Well, we got more to stop. We got to pick. And at that point, the defense has confidence. So you score, who's say you don't get another stop? So if your worst position group, secondary, who is playing awful that day, has confidence, there you go. So we will win that game.
I don't disagree. I mean, it would have been a fight, but we definitely would have had the momentum had definitely swung our way. So I definitely think we would have. It would have been fun to watch. It'd been a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I think we put out momentum in especially in college football is a big thing, and we had completely switched. The team was what we play at the end of the third quarter. Didn't back down, so I think that carried us in the fourth a lot, and I think we would have won it. We have another question from Josh Humanes. I'm gonna go to you with this one first. He says he piggybacked off Justin Wood's question. If we do get the pick and we go down and say we score, because I was thinking this in my head, like, would Napier go for two? That was his question. Do you think Napier goes for two if we get the ball back and drive?
No. I don't think he would have. I know that seems to be like his thing, and I know he's been kind of putting that, but no, I don't think so. I think he would have played the momentum and thought maybe that would have given the defense the spark they needed. I my personal belief, I don't see Billy being that kind of coach. He may be completely prove me wrong, and I know people are going to say, "Well, he did it at Tennessee and all that," and that's fine.
Don't take my talking points.
Yeah, that was the analytics thing.
Don't take my talking points. You good, Hirsch?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. So I was literally going to say, put in the Tennessee film. It's calling him Billy Balls. So, I mean, not to mention, he actually went for it on the other side of the field. I wanted him to kick the field goal, but he just goes for it. That may just be this season, but this season he goes for it. So you don't, even though they may have gotten another stop, maybe you have to go into every possession knowing not if we can stop them, how many plays until they score. I'm not even trying to be negative.
No,
they're horrible. We were awful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like our best corners. I mean, yeah, he got the pick, but I mean, to his standard, playing like crap. He played decent. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't awful in the game, but I mean, we're not playing well on defense. So make it a one-play game. Don't extend the game. Like Hirsch is talking more traditional. Absolutely. All right, you got the momentum. Yeah. But we literally could not stop them on defense. So go for the throat. And you lose it, hey, I don't mind losing, going on a 2-point conversion. I do not when your defense is playing like that. I can hold my head up high.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Mike. I think he goes for it. And the reason why I say I think he goes for it, because we couldn't stop them. And that if you go into overtime, we don't stop them. I'd rather go for the kill right there. So, yeah, I think so. So I'll keep that short. A couple more guys. We have time for a couple more. Then we can do a couple more in here.
Yeah, just so we got a little short, sweet.
All right, so we're gonna kind of keep these kind of short. Your responses on these guys. This is from Bo Dolls. Any compared to last year's defense, he said in modern history, but to compare this defense, because a lot of people talk about Grantham, as far as showing, as far as one of the worst in game. Mike already shot out some numbers earlier on where we are ranked. I don't know if it can get any worse, but just compare this defense to, because I know you looked up some numbers earlier. Compare this defense to last year's defense.
Oh, I'd love to say they were better, but they're just not.
How do you know this? Is that like personal opinion? What are you talking about, dude? You're biased.
Statistically speaking, last year's team averaged giving up 26.5 points a game. So far this year, we're at 28.14 points a game. So if that's not bad enough, this year we're averaging giving up. Last year, we gave up 367 yards a game, and at this point in the season, this year, we're giving up 430 yards a game. That's we're arguably on track for one of the worst defenses in UF history right now. Statistically speaking, we've got to see some improvements. The road isn't going to get any easier. We got UGA next in 2 weeks, then A&M at A&M, and they're not a good offense, but neither are a lot of the teams we've played. We
might be the medicine they need. You know how teams talk about, yeah, we might need to play them to fix our problems.
That's not who you want to. That's not where you want to live. So
yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're the worst. We suck. Hey, so I have a question for you. But do you know offhand? I actually see you're paying attention, or better, if you recall, how many teams are in FBS?
131.
131. Yeah, so we rank on opponent third down conversion percentage.
It's crazy. Um,
131. So being dead last,
It's pretty bad.
Equates to we suck. So yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not saying can't, and we bottomed out. Todd Grantham, Tebow was Heisman year. That was my initial guess, but this year's even worse.
All right,
Bateman got us.
hit us with one more, Wes.
all right, this will be the last one because it's been everywhere. Message boards, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you get it from, everybody's been saying this for the last couple of weeks, even with offense and defensive struggles. And this is from Drew McFarland. He's asking this. He wants us to talk about should we get ahead? And we've kind of already talked on this. Should we get ahead of hiring a new DC? And does Billy need to hire an OC to help him focus on other areas of the teams during games?
Mind if I take this, Hirsch?
Go right ahead.
All right, OC absolutely not. Outside of the Kentucky game, which I lambasted Billy for, is we've progressed. It's throughout the whole season. It's AR has had his when he couldn't throw the ball. I mean, it's hard to get. You cannot game plan when a quarterback can't throw the ball. But he's also you got at the same time.
Unless you put the backup in.
Hey, I'm not. I don't think
I know. I just had to. I had to throw
I
that
know.
curve.
I'm not biting. Hey, I'm not. Nope. Low hanging fruit. No, but anyways, at the same time, you're looking at Utah. You're looking at the Tennessee game. This game. Listen, your team is progressing. We're gonna get more talent in. The O-line is not it right now. Billy's fine. Okay. All right. Now, with that being said, the DC. I thought about it. I'm like I said, just take a step back. Is it horrible right now? Yes. Do I see light at the end of the tunnel? Absolutely. Okay. Too many of his peers, Tony's peers, have said this guy's not decent, outstanding, like future star. So I think he just probably needs a decent safety as well. So I think our safety plays really inhibiting him from what he wants to run at corner. Look at the cornerback class we're getting in. This safety or secondary class we're getting in. Got Kamari or the secondary class we got with Kamari and more last year. We're gonna be fine. Now, if next year occurs, absolutely okay. But I think he definitely needs 2 years.
Just a quick point to piggyback off of what Mike said. There's a reason this recruiting class is defensive heavy. The staff evaluated and realized how bad the talent was on the defensive side of the ball as a whole, and they're trying to flip that as quickly as possible. I think you'll still see a lot more faces leave after this season.
Yeah.
And especially kids maybe flipping the bird and saying F this team on, their social media. Not a good look. But anyway, I think you'll see a lot more guys leave, and I think you'll see us hit the portal fairly hard on both sides of the ball as well. So
and since since they play on the outs, furthest away from the ball, they're easiest, they're quickest to adapt.
Yep.
They're playing early.
Yep. All right, Wes. Thank you so much for those questions. Oh, you got
appreciate that, Wes.
Yeah,
Yes.
just want to do my follow up to what you guys were saying. This guy, Inky Johnson, I listened to, he said this on something he was speaking. He spoke to Florida too. Very good speaker. He said this: the best thing you can do is do the wrong thing and get a positive result. We saw Mullen. If you do the wrong thing, get a positive result. You're thinking that way works. We saw Mullen. We saw McElwain go to the SEC championship game his first and second year. We saw Mullen go to a New Year's Six bowl game, and we thought that worked. That was fool's gold. So to our fans that are thinking,
I see what you're saying. What you're saying.
You said it was backwards?
No.
Did you say it was the best thing or worst thing?
No, if you do the wrong thing and get a positive result, you think that way works, and it's not.
Sometimes it's the worst thing.
Yeah, sometimes you can do the wrong thing. Yeah, sometimes you can do the wrong thing and get a positive result, and that can be the worst thing that happens to you. And my point to that is we have to realize we saw Mullen and McElwain, and we thought, hey, they New Year's Six bowl, SEC championship game, and that wasn't the right way to run the program. They was fool's gold, and to me, it's good to see the flaws now, from Tony and Billy Napier, not the flaws, but for them to see things that not working and realize things they need to improve on. So I don't mind the learning curve, the learning that they need to do, and the things that are going wrong, because that's only going to make them better. So year one, Mike kind of spoke to this. Hershey spoke to this about this is a year to get better. They're going to use this year to get better, and I trust in the staff. So,
and both those coaches inherited significantly better talented rosters.
Exactly.
So, and honestly, that thought process is probably why I'm still single. So,
okay, guys, real quick before we exit, expectations. Are we still in the same boat? I know Mike.
Absolutely, 6 to 10 wins, baby.
Mike 6 to 10.
6 to 10 wins.
And
we're beating South Carolina. I mean, we're in what?
And Vandy.
And Vandy, and then I'm gonna be up in the trenches up right after my birthday, up in Tally and Tally Ho. Taking down this town. Let's go.
We need some definite improvement before we head to Tally, because
10 wins.
I want to beat those guys, and right now I don't know if that would happen. It'd be a dang dogfight the whole game, so we need to get better. Wes, where you still sitting? Your expectations higher, lower?
They went lower.
I lost the game, so it's got to be lower.
Yeah. I just want to see the team continue to get better. So
that's a good answer. That's a perfectly acceptable answer. I said 8-4, 7-5. Right now, I'm 7-5 is definitely looking a lot more likely, and it's going to take some work to get there. Like, that ain't no gimme. A bowl game isn't a gimme right now. These boys going to have to work and take some pride. And that's where I said you're going to have to show some heart. And leaders need to lead, and guys that are just here for a paycheck and, trying to get their draft status where it needs to be, I ain't got a lot of love for you. But anyway, guys, we're going to jump on out of here. We appreciate it. We tried to keep it short, sweet, to the point, and I hope we covered everything that y'all are feeling out there. And, we're hurting today, but hopefully, we just we use this bye week to get a little better. Like Mike always says, you're not getting better.
You're getting worse.
That's right. So, guys, with that being said, y'all got anything you want to add in before you get out of here? Mike, you want to plug it?
Yeah, I think the one thing was it's going to be, with Mike in the Trenches, we have that content. We have that thread going on Twitter every Saturday. I'm at the game, but also have a reel on Facebook. You can definitely check out. And I do add the content. It's in its own category on YouTube as well. That will be uploaded later tonight. So I highly encourage you guys to check it out. Just, and I know it's, some people are, cross country or have other obligations. So I just highly encourage you guys to check it out. I have all the other games that I've been to, they are loaded up there. So just to keep you guys engaged. And if you have anything you want me to check out while I'm, floating around campus, let me know. I can see if it's time to put it on my docket.
Absolutely. Good content, good videos, fun times. Wes been doing a great job with Facebook. Wes, you want to talk about that for real quick?
No, just shout out to our new members. Appreciate you guys for joining. We continue to post and update you. We are a recruiting-based podcast, but we, as you can see, cover the games and everything as well. So you'll be getting a lot of information from us, and just appreciate all the new members that we got on there. And we'll continue to give you the best content we can.
Absolutely. That is what we strive for. Guys, once again, just thank you so much for all your support. Make sure you go download each and every episode. Like I said at the beginning, we're available wherever you get your podcast from. You can find us. Just search Respect Our Decision, and we will be there. As always, though, make sure if you want to go check us out on YouTube, do that. Subscribe to the channel, like I've said before. Even if you don't watch YouTube and you want to be help a few Gators out, go on to YouTube and just subscribe to our channel. It helps us tremendously in the end of the day. Make sure you like and hit the notification button there. And as always, guys, if you'd like to support us as creators, check out our Patreon. And as we said, everything that we get goes right back into our show. so that we can create better content for y'all going forward. So with that being said, guys, we're going to jump on out of here. We got a bye week this week. I think we should be safe to win that one. We'll try to spend the week gathering up information on how the big recruiting weekend went, and we'll try to make sure we talk about that this week on our episode. Working on trying to get us a guest maybe this week so we can maybe have somebody to talk to about UGA week, things like that. So keep an eye out. We'll try to announce that on Twitter if that comes to pass ahead of time. But with that being said, guys, thank you as always. We're going to jump on out of here. Don't dwell on things too long, guys. Just let it go and let's move on down the road. Till then, it's go Gators.
Gators.
Yes, sir. There it is.
Go Gators.
All right, guys. We love you. Peace out.